Alrighty. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with yet another Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be recapping yet another day of Washington Commanders training camp. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me on my social media links down below in the description, and cop some Juan Gotti Talking Sports merch. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's video. So, ladies and gentlemen, football is back. Preseason football starts today. We have 2 games. The Giants are going to be playing, and I believe the Ravens are going to be playing, and then yet another preseason game. So, football is back again, ladies and gentlemen. The best time of the year, preseason football. It is, and a lot of people, if you're not a diehard fan, I understand that. So you may feel like, it ain't really too much to watch, man. If you're a casual fan, which is nothing wrong with that at all, you're probably not going to be tuning in as much. But for us diehard fans, especially at the Washington Commanders, we'll be watching heavily, man. We'll be seeing, because we know this roster from the starters to the back end, so we want to see all these position battles. What is the back end of the wide receiver core going to look like? Who's going to win that kick return battle? What is this running back room going to look like? What is this secondary going to look like, man? The depth there. It's a lot to watch. It's a lot to intake, but I want to remind you guys of a few quick announcements before we get deep into today's video. Again, I will be going live with the Big Cat from Keep Pounding TV tomorrow night at 8 p.m. to discuss Carolina versus Washington, previewing that game. And then Saturday, 1 p.m. game time, your boy will be stepping in the booth for his 3rd year in a row, calling the games for the Washington Commanders here on YouTube. It's crazy how fast this is transpired, man. I remember 2020 week 1 versus the Eagles was the first time I called the game for the Washington Commanders. Now we're headed into our 3rd year here, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support, man. This is what I love doing, man. Calling the games, being the play-by-play analyst for the Washington Commanders is what I love doing, man. And again, without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do it, man. So again, I hope to see you guys over there for the 3rd year in a row, calling the games play-by-play for the Washington Commanders versus the Carolina Panthers at 1 p.m. So hope to see you guys over there for those 2 streams. Again, Friday, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Me and the Big Cat here. And then Saturday, 1 p.m., your boy is stepping in the booth for his 3rd year in a row, calling the play-by-play for the Burgundy and Gold here on YouTube. So hope to see you guys over there. Now let's finish this training camp recap. So there wasn't a lot, again, coming out of Washington's training camp, just because the team is gearing up for their preseason duel versus the Panthers this Saturday. But there was a little bit of some notes here. J.D. McKissick was back at practice. So that's a good sign. Derek Forrest is making a name for himself. He had an interception today, so he's going to be a name to watch in the preseason, as he's going to be trying to get that Buffalo nickel spot and just be some depth around in that secondary. Rivera, he talked to the press today, and he discussed some things about his plan going into week 1 of the game versus the Carolina Panthers. What are we going to look like? And that's what we are intrigued to see, and that's what I'm going to bring to you guys. So again, let's see if is there any other news as far as on the field today. John Bates didn't practice today. Cole Turner didn't practice today. So we're back to Sammy Reyes, Curtis Hodges, Amani Rogers, and it is a little concerning, but again, it's just preseason. We're going to take it with a grain of salt. I'm interested to see what Sammy Reyes is going to be now. He's going to have a big opportunity to play probably with the 1s, maybe the 2s. So I'm going to be interested to see what Sammy Reyes has to offer. Curtis Samuel is a name that has been hot lately, for obvious reasons. He had an interview with I want to say it was Scott Abram, I want to say, from ABC7. He had an interview with him, and he basically said, I will be ready for week 1. I will be playing. I'm healthy. I feel good. So on one side of the spectrum, it's like, that's good to hear from Curtis Samuel that they have a plan. He feels good to play. On the other side, it's like, Curtis Samuel, I wouldn't say that if I was you. I wouldn't jinx myself. But it's good. We're going to think from the positive aspect of things. We're going to think from the glass half full. approach, Curtis Samuel says he'll be fine. He'll be ready for week 1, so that's good. And he'll be getting out there running around in the preseason. So that's actually a surprise. So I thought they were just going to not play him in the preseason, but it seems like they're following that plan. And I'm trusting Ron Rivera and this coaching staff and this training staff to put Curtis Samuel in the best position to play. So if they, obviously he's healthy enough to play football, because if they didn't think he was healthy enough to play, they wouldn't throw him out there in the preseason. But he will be playing with the starters this Saturday. So now let's jump into what Ron Rivera has to say about the starters. So he said the starting unit, Carson Wentz and those boys, will be playing at least 15 to 20 snaps before they turn the reins over to the backups, and that's fine with me. 15 to 20 snaps in game 1 is cool. I just want to see, more importantly than just watching these guys play, I hope they just get out of it, healthy. I hope we don't leave this thing with no scars, man, no wounds, no nothing. I hope we just come out of this thing healthy. And that's for both teams, not just our team, because it's the worst thing, and the thing you fear the most is preseason injuries. Injuries in general, but preseason injuries is one you fear the most, man. And I just hope we, more importantly, get out of this thing healthy and nothing is wrong with our guys, okay? He talked about then to turn the reins over to Taylor Heinicke mid to third quarter or something like that, second to play in the third quarter, and then he'll let Sam Howell finish it out. Again, I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining preseason games, not just for what we have to offer, but what Carolina has to bring too. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, QB battle going on over there, and then we have 3 entertaining quarterbacks. We want to see our starter Carson Wentz, right? But then when Carson Wentz is out, Taylor Heinicke's going to keep the thing afloat, because he's going to keep it interesting to watch too. Because again, it's not like we're going from Carson Wentz to no offense, but like a Nathan Peterman or a PJ Walker. We're going from a Carson Wentz to a Taylor Heinicke, who was a borderline one of the best backups of football, and low-end starter possibly. And then you have an interesting piece of a rookie quarterback in Sam Howell. What is he going to look like? Maybe we can drive up his trade value, or will he be the future backup for Washington if Taylor Heinicke leaves? Or maybe is he going to be the starter for the future? You have to see that too. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Then you go over to some other position battles that I want to see. You talk about the running back room. What is Brian Robinson going to look like? Antonio Gibson, how many carries is he going to get? Hope he gets a little bit, of carries. And I want to see my man Jared Patterson, bro. Another guy who a lot of people sleeping on. A lot of people have him on the outside, looking in right now. And I'm going to say this now, and I've been saying this all summer. If Washington exposes Jared Patterson to the practice squad and someone plucks him off, it will be a huge mistake. It will be a huge mistake, because this guy can play in the league. And he showed that last year in this very preseason. In the preseason, he showed that he could play at this level. And he carried that into the regular season. So, hey, Washington, I'm just going to say be smart. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you know what you should do. Be smart. If you expose Jared Patterson to any other roster, you will be making a huge mistake. Let me just put it that way. And then Ron Rivera also talked about this back end of the wide receiving core. The Michael Markins of the world, or the Michael Michels of the world. Sonny Michel's brother. Cam Sims, Dax Milne, Alex Erickson, the back end of the roster for the wide receiving core, the Kelvin Harmons of the world. I don't include Cam Sims in that discussion. I think he's a lock to make this roster. I really do. I think your 5 is Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dawson, Curtis Samuel, De'Ami Brown, and Cam Sims. That's your 5. 6 and maybe even 7 is between Kelvin Harmon, Michael Markin, or Michael Michel. Hopefully, I'll get his name right. Markin Michel, and Dax Milne and Alex Erickson. That's what it's between for me, right? I think Dax Milne is going to get that 6th wide receiver spot. I think he just provides too much in the passing game to not make him be the number 6 wide receiver, and he can also field punts and kick returns. He's been having a hell of a camp. I want to see what Alex Erickson has in store for us, because you remember last year, DeAndre Carter, we didn't know what he could bring to the table, right? All we knew was we signed him to be a return guy, but he was having a really strong training camp, and then he had a really, really strong preseason. So maybe Alex Erickson has a strong preseason, and he can overrule, Dax Milne. But as of right now, I think Dax Milne is the clear-cut favorite to get at a 6th spot. Now, if we keep 7 wide receivers, I would want us to keep a Kelvin Harmon over a Michael Markin, bro, or a Michael Michel. I'll get his name right. Don't roast me, man. I'll get his name right eventually. Markin Michel. just because I like Kevin Harmon, I like what he provides to the roster. You know, strong hands, and he had a really, really good 2019 year. And then we thought he was going to follow that up with a really strong 2020 campaign, but then towards ACL. And ever since, he's been trying to fight his way back to the roster, man. But if we keep 7, it'll be interesting to see, because the Michelle guy, he's been having a really, really, really strong camp. So if he is a guy that they want to be keeping on to, I wouldn't mind it. And then you take a look at some of the other position battles. You know, you got the secondary. What the back end of that is going to look like. You know, Jeremy Reeves, Derek Forrest, or, you know, Percy Butler. What are those safeties going to look like? You know, what are they going to provide for us? You know, one of those is going to be the Buffalo nickel, obviously, but they can still play over the top. Cam Curl and Bobby McCain are going to be your obviously starting safeties. And then you have the cornerbacks. What is the back end of that going to look like? You know, you got the Christian Holmes, you got the Danny Johnsons of the world. I want to see some of the starters. Benjamin St. Juice, let him get out there and run around. It's been a while for him playing in the game. You know, he had a lot of injuries last year. You know, like 3 concussions. Kendall Fuller, William Jackson. It's going to be overall a fun time to watch that secondary work. And then the defensive line. A guy that I'm intrigued to watch is David Bada. You know, he's been a guy that's been around for a while, right? We got him from the International Pathway Program, and he's been making himself a name in training camp. So I want to see, is that going to transition into the game? Could he actually make this roster as a backup, you know, defensive tackle for John Allen? You know, Deron Payne. You know, Fedarian Mathis is going to obviously make this roster. You know, we spent the draft pick on him this past year, so he'll be the first off the bench. Or maybe we even run some 3D line sets this year. You know, FL Bada, Shaka Tony, you know, BK, as Chase Young calls William Bradley King. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this depth, man. That's why I say, when you're a diehard and you follow this team as closely as we do, preseason isn't born, because we want to see the back end of these guys. We want to see our depth work, man. So it's going to be fun, you know. But as always, man, it's me, your boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Head to the Washington Commanders again. Wasn't a lot coming out of training camp because the team is gearing up for their game versus the Carolina Panthers week 1 this Saturday. Again, don't forget, I will be going live with Big Cat from Keep Pounding TV to preview Washington, Carolina tomorrow at 8 p.m. And then Saturday, your boy is making his return, 3rd year in a row calling games for the Washington Commanders. So hope to see you guys over there. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, hustle Washington Commanders. Want to roll to 5,000 subscribers, so that subscribe button again if you haven't already. I'm out. Peace. Cross me one time, that's gonna get you pop. Get you pop.